an exceptional program of fearless, tensionless and worryless board exams, especially programmed for our young youths who will appear their board exams within a few months. I am your host Yashika. We are glad and blessed to have with us a very special person who is inspiring, motivating, kind, caring, loving and motherly, our own principal, Ma'am Vatsala Singh, the gem of our prestigious DPS Chhatarpur. A warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
She doesn't need any introduction as she has become an iconic figure in the town. She has been honored the BA, B.Ed, LLB and LLM degrees, carrying a rich and vast experience in the educational environment, who is always energetic and passionate for her students and teachers. She established a self-help group for training of women and economically weaker sections in Devas, Madhya Pradesh in association with district administration. She is on the advisory board of IECS Indra Educational Society headed by Professor Handu and attends the various national level workshops for principals and also takes sessions for leaders. She is the recipient of 6th National Women Excellent Award 2013, the Navkiran Award by the North Eastern Council, Ministry of Department of North Eastern Region, Government of India. She was awarded by Tulsi Samman on September 20, 2018 and many more achievements. Without wasting much time, let us welcome her and our interviews Ananya and Siddhika.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Over to you. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for giving us such a precious time. So, without wasting time, let us start our interview. Hand over
My
to
pleasure.
Ma'am, what actually boards are and why they appear to create fear and tensions in the minds of the parents and students?
The board are the examinations which are conducted by a national organization. Here in India, the boards that we are talking about are either by the ICSE or CBSE board. In our school, we are affiliated to CBSE board. This is the Central Board of Secondary Education. And to check the parameters of education and to standardize the education, they organize and conduct the examination at 2 levels for the school students, that is 10 and 12. So that throughout the country, the standards of assessment are the same and standards of teaching are the same. So it is a very important examination in everyone's life and it carries a lot of value in their future life. Wherever you go, you're young now, you don't realize that, but at our age also, we know wherever we have to submit our certificates, the first impression is your 10th board certificate. That is the first one to see, and that creates an impression about your competency, about your capabilities. So that is why I think so parents and children are very, very conscious about how they perform on that examination and what they do. Plus that there is an element of surprise in the papers. In the school examinations, you are used to, you understand your teacher. So you maybe somehow you find a way of assessing how and what the teacher might ask. And the teacher also knows you personally. So if you make a minor mistake, the teacher will understand that the child knows and maybe grant you marks generously. But in the board examination, the papers are made by number of people, they're compiled together. So they are making it only on the basis of kind of an expectation of your performance, that every child should know that this particular level of competency should be there in their academics and this should be their performance. So you are not aware of who's making, what kind of questions are being put up. Plus when they're correcting your papers also, for them it is only a roll number. So they have their blueprints, they have the answer script and they have that standardized expectation of answers. If it does not match with that, and along with that, how your handwriting is, and there are so many other factors. So there are instances when you may not score as per your competency also. So that is where the children are afraid of all these unsure factors, because they are not sure. You may have performed the best, but maybe the examiner is not able to understand or not. There are so many factors. Maybe is not in a good mood, maybe just flipped over to your answer script and did not award you the marks that you expected. So that unsurety about the pattern of examination and the assessment makes a child afraid. So that is why everyone takes time to prepare themselves for the worst. They prepare themselves thoroughly so that any situation they can encounter and sail through the most important examination of their life. This is the most important examination.
So my next question is, what are some strategy you would share with the students and parents to avoid stress of board exam?
Okay, then I would like to reply to this answer at two levels. First, I will take up what the parents need to do for the children, because of course it is very, very important, the kind of environment they give the children and kind of support. So the environment that the parents need to give at home is at least 3 months before the examination, no major social events should happen at their home. Their entire focus should be the child's peace of mind and the environment for the child's preparation. So they have to take all precaution that the atmosphere at home is conducive for the child to study. The child has a proper particular place where they can study peacefully. There should not be any kind of distractions at home like TV or loud music, and it should be a very peaceful and very amiable environment in the home. And another thing that the parents need to take care is the food habits of the child. It's a very, very important factor for the child and the parents, because if you eat, we have a habit, I think generally many people have a habit of binging when you're studying. You know, to stay awake, you eat something or you drink something. Generally we drink a lot of tea so that we can stay awake and alert for a longer period of time, which is very, very harmful, because these tea, if you take too much, will cause you acidity. Rather than that, what I would suggest is eat less of carbohydrates, more of proteins and more of fluids, because you need to remain alert. If you eat lots of carbohydrates, if you munch on things, you'll feel sleepy and lazy. If you take lots of fresh fruits, dry fruits, it will give you energy. It does have an impact over there. And also the child needs to do, this is part of, the environment that you need to build around yourself and your habits. Now if we come to the study habits, the child has to take care of making a proper routine, a schedule. Your whole day should be divided properly. How you will manage, and your revision should start at least 3 months before the examination. And there should be at least 2 to 3 levels of revision. One should be covering everything up. While you're covering it up, you should make points. On a small notebook, points about all the important points of that particular lesson. Because in the second revision, you should only concentrate on those points. And when you look at those points, the related subject matter you'll remember that. And the third revision should be only that kind of revision where the smallest core points are there. Like if you talk about English and Hindi as the literature subjects, there your grammar, those points should be written. If it is an essay, some essays then you should write what are the main components of that, and then related to that you'll remember the subject matter. If you're talking about maths, somewhere you should write down all the formulas and the important steps and procedures. So whatever the problem, you're able to apply that. In sciences also the same thing, the points and the formulas and the important definitions. The last revision should contain only this, not the vast subject matter. Okay? If we do all these things, then you develop confidence, and you're not spreading yourself too thin at the last moment to cover up lots of things. I've done this, now next level is this. When you make those points, and always have a habit of writing it down. because writing reinforces your memory. These days we are in the habit of using computers. There's no harm in that, but it should be supplementary to your learning. Reading and writing is very, very important for the longer period of memory. So if we adopt these strategies, and after we do this, one very important part of your preparation is your time management. Because if you do not know how to manage those 3 hours where you have to write everything, there are chances when we know the answer also, but we are not able to complete it in the stipulated time. So in the last moment, when you come to those final points, then you must concentrate on practicing the answers. Take the last few years question papers and time yourself. Sit continuously for 3 hours and attempt one paper. Okay? And when you are attempting those papers, because when we are writing also, we are not used to writing for continuously 3 hours. We get tired. So that also you need to inculcate when you are preparing for the boards, because there you will not get time to even lift your head up. You have so much to write. So if you are organized in this manner, because everyone who is preparing for board, actually average and above average children, they know the subject matter. Now you have to find ways how you present that subject matter in the best possible way to score more and more. Okay? So you have to practice that. You have to practice the handwriting. You have to practice the time management. These are the very vital factors for a good board result.
So now, what steps would you suggest to the students who are dealing with complicated and tough questions in the board exam?
I would suggest when you find a question which you find a little complicated and tough, it is part of your syllabus only, but maybe they have twisted the question to confuse you. In such situations, break the question down. Read the question 2 or 3 times with concentration, because the answer always lies in the question. Okay, and then if it is too complicated, break it into 2 or 3 things. What exactly are they asking? How they are asking the information. When you break it down, then you will be able to attend the question up to your satisfaction.
So my next question is, what are the difference between board exam and school exam, and how to prepare for them?
Like I said in the beginning, the difference between board examination and school examination is one, primarily, that board examination is organized by a central organization where the papers are not prepared by one person. It's more than 50 resource persons, they get papers and then it is compiled. So it's not just one person who's making the papers, and the papers questions who's making is unknown to the students who are appearing for it. In school, teacher knows. So though the teacher is preparing the paper very objectively, but the teacher always keeps back at the back of their mind whether my children will be able to attempt this, whether they will be able to understand that. So they may they would modify the question to suit their children. Okay? But that does not happen in the boards. So that is why for the boards, it's the same kind of examination that you have in school. The stress levels are attached to the board examination because of this unsurety. Otherwise, I think so you should all approach, my advice to the children is, approach the board examinations the way you approach your school examination, but with a little bit more preparation. When we were in school, we used to be advised by our teachers to have a lot of fun just before the board examination, to be well prepared in advance, but before the examination, de-stress yourself. Because sometimes we impose too much of tension on ourselves, thinking about what if this happens, what if that happens. So say it is this only, I know the entire subject matter, I've studied well, and I'll be able to do it the way I'm doing my school examination. So it is how you prepare yourself, tutor yourself for it.
So what is the difference between school examination and board examination, and a way to prepare for them and face them?
But the only difference is that it is one central organization and standardized assessments. Like every school will have their, or not, assessments are standardized. Like, now we get the blueprint of what kind of question paper it should be, how many long answers, how many short answers. Schools are also doing that. But the assessment is not standardized. Standardized means wherever you do it, the questions will remain the same, the answer will remain the same. So, in the board examination, the standardization is at the national level. And now, since last 1 year, what the board has done is also your performance is also assessed at the national level. Earlier, it used to be like if you have scored certain marks, you are not getting a place nationally, right? So people used to think that if you're in a smaller city, you will not get that kind of competition. If you're in a bigger city, you are with more smarter children or with different varieties of children, then you will get better competition. But that also the board, CBSE has ruled it out. In the board examinations 10th and 12th, whatever you score, it is going to be percentile. Top 1/8 children will get A+ grade. And top 1/8 means top 1/8 in the entire country, the children who have appeared for the board. So if supposing in one subject, the highest nationally is 80s in 80s. So even 80s percent will get A+ marks because it's top 1/8. In some subjects, even if you got 90s and the top 1/8 is higher than that, maybe 95 plus is higher than that. Maybe 90s you might get B+ grade because you are in the next 1/8 or the third 1/8. This is how they have done the ranking. Top 1/8 is A+, then next 1/8 is A, so on it goes. So when you look at your mark sheet, you will know that if I have got A+, then I am in this particular subject in the top 1/8 of the entire country. So that gives you a good leverage and you understand where your position is, what you need to do.
So now my next question, what are some important tips would you like to share with the science and maths?
The important tips in science in maths would be all the formulas that you have, because when you repeat something, then it remains longer in your memory. So an easy and a very commonly advised tip is write the important facts and formulas on a piece of paper, on a chart, or if you have a board at home. And when you are visiting, you look at it again and again, it remains in your memory, right? And practice as many number of questions as you can of a particular type. The more you practice, the better you become at solving them. Similarly in science also, the definitions and the formulas and important facts and figures, write them down on a board. Either you can write it down in your handwriting in bold letters. When you're even passing through that place, you have a glance at it, you remember it. Some things you have to memorize them so that you can apply them better. Okay? So these two tips will be very, very useful for these particular two subjects.
And could you share some do's and don'ts while answering the questions?
While answering the questions, the most important do is you must highlight all the important points. You must, it should be the answers. First of all, when you see a paper, don't start attempting it. Read the entire paper thoroughly. And though lots of people say that whatever you find easy, do it first. But because I have been part of checking the copies also, I have felt that the examiners get really irritated if you've written one question there and then you jump to the 8th one and jump to the 4th one, because then they have to flip here and there. They're taking more time to check your copies. And practically you have to understand that they're getting paid for each copy. They're in a hurry to finish it. So then if they have to flip too many pages, 1 year, 4 there, 5 here, then they would just give you average marks. And I've seen that happen. Though it is not fair, it should not be done. So as a smart student, what I advise my student is, if supposing you know the question, first you go through the paper thoroughly, and if you feel that these are the questions that I know better, mark them up. You may attempt them. I would always advise everyone to attempt serially only. But if you feel that there is something that you want to attempt first and you want to come to something later, leave gaps. It's always better. Leave that space and then write the next question, and maybe you can come back to that. But I would not advise anyone doing that unless and until you're absolutely sure of it, because that also happens because you're in a hurry to complete. When you leave the gaps and you leave something, you do not get a chance to come back to it and you miss out on it. So try to attempt everything serially. Okay, that's my first tip. And also write everything very neatly and cleanly. Leave a gap between two answers. Underline the answers. Highlight the important points. Because you have to now start imagining yourself as an examiner. If I am the examiner and if I have a copy in front of me, how would I like that copy to read the answers to be ideally? If it highlighted, the examiner will look at it and feel, oh, the child knows all the important points. They've written them. Most likely you will get more than 90% marks. And the handwriting has to be neat. Okay? Now you have to start, when you're prepared, now you have to start thinking about these two things. One is time management, and that you are able to attempt the paper properly within time. Other is, how will your assessor react to your performance? So you have to keep that person also in mind, that I have to take all caution and all care that the assessor finds my notebook very impressive and up to the point. And impressive does not mean color it and make it fancy. Just pencil underline or write in bold letters. Okay?
So the syllabus is vast and the questions that appear in exams are limited. So what are some achieving tasks holding a big number?
As you grow, your syllabus will also grow. You have to, and it is gradually added on to it. When your competency levels increase, your syllabus increases. Because when you're growing up, that is the amount of facts and figures and information that you should know. So we must, and it is all scientifically graded. People who design your syllabus and curriculum have done a lot of research in that area, and then they think that this age level, and then only they decide that syllabus. So it is not vast, it is the syllabus that you need to know. These are the facts and figures and the information that you need to know for building on more information in future. And the higher you go, the higher examination that you appear for, your competitiveness increases, your competency increases. Because if you're studying, then you have limited topics. When you're appearing for competitions, supposing UPSC or maybe Indian Engineering Services or any other competition of the UPSC, not only civil services, there they will give you topics. The syllabus will not be from here to there. Anything related to that topic they're going to ask you. So how does that topic build? Because at different levels you have acquired certain information and knowledge related to that topic. And then you have been taught to take care of the mass of information. That you've been taught to handle the mass of information. Okay? And every information is not to be remembered. Only the facts have to be remembered. Out of the vast information is the description of those facts. How to apply those facts. So you don't have to memorize that. Okay? So you have to find a way. That is why we have the interlinking and related methods of learning. When we learn something, then related facts we remember. But if we don't understand those related facts, then we don't. Okay?
My next question is to you. Do parents play a vital role in board exams? If yes, what are their responsibilities?
They play a very vital role and a major responsibility because it is for the parents to give you the right environment at home, to make available all the resources that you need. The resources may be related to your stationery and academic requirements, the resources that allow you to have well-nourished and balanced food. The parents are responsible for giving you the environment and discipline at home, and to support you in that discipline there, where you can exercise that kind of discipline, where you have a schedule for your preparation, and to make the home peaceful and happy and least agitating for the child, and to always be there with the child, around the child. The child should not be lonely. Look after the child. That does not mean pampering, that just means looking after the child, helping the child, support the child in the biggest mission of their life, first biggest mission in their life.
So my next question is, why do we call board exams as a board exam? Why don't we call it a competitive exam?
Because it is not competition.
Somewhere
And the difference between board and competition is we take it as a competition, but technically the board examinations, why we call it board is because it is being organized by a central board of secondary education. So they are organizing it. That is why the term board examination is given to them, and they are not competitive because you score marks and everyone gets marks, right? In competition, you are competing for one objective with the others. Okay? We do take it as a competition that we try to score better so that we have a rank somewhere. Okay? But the only difference between this and board exam, a pure competition, is that we are not competing with ourselves. We are only giving our best over there, and then we are ranked. We are not competitors. We are given rankings on the basis of our performance. So it is not competing that this person is better or that person is worst or bad. As per our performance, we are ranked. Okay, so it is not a competition, and it should not be made a competition either by you or by your parents. Okay, everyone wants to do the best in whatever we do, but we also have, everyone has their own competencies and their own skill areas. But I do agree about this, that basic level of education is required for everyone. So you are supposed to have a basic level of degree. How you rank in that degree and how you take that degree to a next level, like board is your very first degree, and that is the stepping stone to your choices in the future. Okay, so whatever choices you want to make in future, supposing if you want to go in humanities field, then naturally you need to perform better in humanities so that you get good colleges. So that is why the board have that kind of relevance, because it is a stepping stone in deciding about your professional education in future. It helps you somewhere, guides you, or maybe shows you direction in the kind of career you would like to take, or maybe shows you an insight of what career you may be capable of, or what skills you might have. Okay? So we should take it as that. There, like when we had the career counseling session, he said a very wonderful thing, that we all should have that pressure. Without pressure, we will not be sincere, or we will not have that kind of motivation to do our best. We will be too easygoing. We should not be. Because whatever we do, we should give it our best. Only our best. Not better than you, our best, my best. If I do something, I should focus on giving my honest best and my 100%. So the board examinations are also like that. And this also is the first step of you identifying where your skills lie, what you would like to do in future. If you scored 100% in maths or science, it's not necessary that you take that subject. If you're interested in humanities or languages, it's not necessary that you've scored 100% math, you must take it. But every student should start thinking about it. Okay? It is a very difficult thing, and every day you will question yourself and you will change your choices. But I think so you should start thinking, what would I like to do 10 years down the line? Imagine yourself doing something 10 years down the line, whether I will be happy doing that, would I get that satisfaction, what would I achieve if I am so and so. Do I want to achieve that? If you feel that image that you see, you like it, you must go ahead with it. If not, then change the image, then think about doing something else. But you should start foreseeing the future now, because that is going to be your reality, and whatever decisions you take today is going to affect your long-term future. So don't do the things for a reason because so-and-so is doing it, because so-and-so is asking you to do it. Give it a thought, because whatever your parents or your elders or any one of your well-wishers says, it does carry a meaning of weight. But also think at your own individual level as well. Does this apply to me? Should I be doing this and this? And then now we have access to so much of information with us. Everywhere in the smallest city in the world also you have access. Find out more about that particular field of profession that you want to take. Find out the various arenas it has and whether you would like to see yourself there or not, and then make a choice. Because whatever choice you make, you have to live with it all your life. So it better be good and happy, right?
And what are the different techniques, secrets or mantras that you would suggest to study various subjects?
My only mantra to studying any subject is have a proper schedule, make a strategy, make a plan. Because if you don't make a plan, then you plan to fail, right? So everything needs a plan. When we're talking about board examinations, the plan for the board examination should be your school targets to finish syllabus in so and so month. Then your plan should be after I finish, maybe supposing by the end of November the syllabus is over for your board examination. 15 days I will do one set of the entire revision on my own. Then next 15 days I will do the next level of revision, means now start making those brief points. After that, next 10-15 days, supposing every subject, at least practice 10 question papers. Okay? This is the only mantra for success. The more you practice, the more you excel, and the better your strategy is. And the final mantra for any examination is, during the examinations, do not tire your body mentally. Do not overstudy at the last moment. Because whatever you will try and cover up at the last moment, you will forget most likely. So be very well prepared. For the last moment, those brief points should be memorized. Brief topics should be memorized, those important ones. And you should be very, very relaxed. You should have a good routine during those last few days of examination and during the examinations. And sleep well. Don't stay up late. Eat good food. Drink lots of fluids, because all these things do make a lot of difference. And don't get into any unpleasant situation. Don't fight with anyone. Don't argue with anyone. And I find personally having a peaceful environment at home really helps. Having good friends does help. And one other thing that I forgot to say, if you have good buddies for your study, then the buddies have to be very disciplined. Not when you get together start talking. But the buddy system of studying, the peers studying is the most effective. because when you discuss about a topic, you understand it better, you learn it better. And when two friends ask each other, discussing about the topics, asking questions to each other, and then checking each other's answers. Another one good thing that is going to be very, very helpful during the examinations is now online we get the model papers and the model answers also. So whatever answers you write, you don't have to copy over there. And also please remember that whatever sites you check for the model answer, that should be properly authorized, authentic sites. Because there are a lot of wrong answers also on site. So if you have those model answers, you can weigh your responses in comparison to those responses and then see where you need to improve. Because the model answers that are prepared, given by the CBSE in their website, they are the best example of the answer that they expect, or a complete answer. So that helps you to know that if you are answering in this particular pattern and with this kind of complete information, then you are more likely to score better. Okay?
Could you share with us the reason of giving huge priority to board exams? It takes so much stress and get tension.
You mean to say that what is the importance of giving board examination?
Sometimes, but we listen a board exam, so usually we get tension that it's a board class, we need to stop this. So give us some tips or reasons why we get so much tension during board exam.
Because we give not tension. We would say that we give so much stress to the board examination is because this is the very first most important examination of your life. Okay, because this is the examination that decides the entire future of your professional studies in future, of your own choice of your career also. It gives you that idea too. And the stress for the board examination is because it is a standardized measure of your assessment, right? And wherever you go, why I say standardized means it has some set patterns and standards, and the results that come out of it are valued everywhere. Maybe your school result, even if you score 100%, somebody might say that might have been awarded through preference or some other method. But in the board examination, whatever you score, it is respected as the best, unbiased, or though there is a dispute about it, people feel that the board examination results are not the true assessment of a candidate. But at the moment, this is the best method of standardized assessment. And every university or college, in order to give you admission, takes into account your 10th and 12th board marks. Okay, that is why it is. It is very, very important.
Do you think board marks define our career?
Not at all. Not only board marks, no marks decide your career. Okay, your career should be driven by your passion. It is very difficult to find our passion. So, passion is something very, very deep feeling or attachment to a certain thing. I would request my children to begin by thinking what you like to do. And also remember that if you want to do something extraordinary in life, excellence is what it requires. Whatever field you may be wanting to be. Because there are pioneers in all the fields. Whatever field you pick up, there is somebody who's at the top of it and somebody who's not known by anyone. So you have to visualize yourself where you want to be. In any field. Now so many, they say now there are 1,600 professions. So many choices. And when you look at the social media, pleasantly you see every day, even elderly ladies putting up their videos of cooking only at home. It's just, and they're getting paid for it. They made a profession out of it. A few days back, I read a story about a lady who started this startup at 80 years of age. And she's doing a wonderful business when people just give up everything and relax. But she wanted, and it was a passion to do something like that. But she did not get a chance to do it till 80 years of age. So my advice to everyone would be, because whatever profession you choose, you are going to do it day in and day out. If you have the facility of making a choice, you must make that choice very wisely. And see, every profession that you choose, there will be good days and bad days. And every profession is very taxing and demanding, no matter what it is. But what makes it easier on you is when you love doing whatever you are doing. When you like to do that, then you give it your excellence. It's not just a mechanical thing that you are in and out. You are giving your heart and soul to it. You are enjoying doing that. There is a saying that if you love your profession, then you are not working. It's like a hobby every day. So that's the most ideal situation. But all of us, many of us do not get that luxury of making that choice. But then you should do a reverse in that. Whatever you are doing, you should start loving that. It's always better. When you are doing it, start loving it and stop cribbing about it. It's all a matter of attitude. Any profession that you want to pick up, nothing is better or worse or greater or lower. But only thing, my advice to everyone is there is no place for mediocre. Excellence in any field, you require excellence. So you should give your very best with whatever you choose to do. Okay.
So why don't you school promote practical techniques rather than theory? Practical learning is much easier to understand.
All good schools, all national and international good schools, okay, they are promoting hands-on learning. In our school also, we do a lot of hands-on learning and a lot of application of that knowledge also. Whatever we have learned, one is the lab. In the lab, you go and practically check the theories and see how it is working. Another is sometimes we go out in the field also and try to apply it. But apart from this, what a student and a teacher also should know is whatever you learn in the classroom, apply it to everything around you. What you learn in geography, try to connect it with the environment around you. What you learn in science, try applying it to everything around you. Here I would like to bring your attention, if you see your class groups, every day your chemistry teacher is posting something, chemistry in day-to-day life, which is very interesting. You understand, so that is the application of that knowledge. Some things you can practically do and see, some things you do not, but it gives you an explanation of whatever, generally we feel that whatever we are reading in the text has no value to our life. But everything that we are reading in text has value to our life, and it is coming from there only. Even in history and geography also, if many people say, why should we learn about who died and who did what? But what is important is, that is a block into today, right? Whatever happened in the past, all the events have led to the events that are happening today. It is a stepping stone. So maybe the revolution, maybe the French Revolution. When the French Revolution happened, today's France could take shape. So if you do not know where it began from, You won't be able to understand the present. So it is very important for us to understand our past, to know our present, to understand our present better, and to know that without our past there would have been no present. So every fact and figure is important.
Schools should focus on vocational courses. What is your opinion?
Schools should, but my personal opinion about that is, it is not a replacement of the core academics. It should be in addition to that, and generally the purpose of vocational training is that every person should acquire some skill. And skills are more important, and there was a time when people had started overlooking the skills and undermining the skills and thinking low of these skilled persons. You know, it's a lowly thing, and white collar was getting more importance. But in a society, everyone has their own importance and competences. We have realized that. And now again the attention is shifting back to the skills. Along with academics, there is some level of education which is necessary to acquire so that the skills can be applied. I personally believe that up to 12, class 12 education, 10 plus 2, it should be mandatory for everyone. And skill subjects can be optional. Most schools are not able to, even if they want to, because the resource persons are very limited for that. Or the children do not make a choice for it, because for everyone they think, skill subject means, it's a fun subject. So when we will understand the importance of these skill subjects, and when we will understand the importance of dignity of labor also, then maybe, and gradually that attitude is developing. Because if you see in the Western countries, not everyone goes to college for academics. After the 10 plus 2, they go for vocational courses also. If a child feels that, and it has nothing to do with the academic competence. Maybe somebody is very skilled at plumbing or electrical work, or maybe in the IT. So why should that person go for any other degree? Why not take specialization in that particular field? In our country, because skilled people, there was a time when they were not given that kind of dignity. So people did not prefer to, because everyone wants a dignified life. So they did not prefer it as a profession, even when it was a family profession, and they had the skills and the competence for it. But it is changing now. And gradually it will change when we have dignity of labor, when we respect the people who do these skilled work, not only labor, skilled work. When we have more respect for it, and when we will go there, generally these skilled laborers were not very literate. Then also, that was also one reason that they were not respected for their skills. Now the literacy is there and the skills are there. So I think so we are moving towards a world that where everyone is respected for their particular qualities, aptitude, attitude and skills.
When board exams results are coming, so many students commit suicide because of fear. So what's your opinion for it?
I would say that it is a very unfortunate thing. No one should take that drastic step. That is just one examination, and life is a mix of success and failure. Failure does not mean that you end your life. It means that there was one chance that did not work out, but there are 10 different, 100 different chances that may work out for you. Not only academic, something else. But ending your life and taking such a drastic decision, there are lots of factors for that. What happens is that you start building a fearful world around us. You start running away from challenges. No, let's not only blame it on the family or anyone's pressure. Because pressure and challenges will be there in everyone's life at every stage of life. And school is a preparation for your life. this is the first challenge that comes to a student. Before that, you are so protected that you don't get any major challenges. This is first major challenge. So we have to groom our own self. The family and the society also is required to give that kind of a support system to a person, so that the person feels safe in failure also. Whatever we may do, every day we face success and failure in whatever small things we do. But this is widely known. Your board results, everyone would like to know what your board result was. So you cannot hide it. Everyone would like to know. But everyone has to. It is our responsibility to our own self, not somebody else's. That we have to make ourselves so strong that we are able to take up all the challenges in life, face them head on, and there's always a solution to every problem. The solution to a problem is not that you end your life. That is, by ending your life, you're creating so many other problems for someone else. So face the problem. One door closes, so many other opens. And anyone who wants to see the worst of the worst, most of the successful people in the world, if you read the stories, they're full of failures and successive failures. But the only difference is they did not give up. They kept on trying. Some people have said that, failure means that this is eliminated. That this option is no more open for me, I have to try the other options. One option eliminated, I have thousands others, let me try the other one. And my own personal philosophy is also that only. If I have failed at something, not being able to perform, that maybe I need to change my strategy, I need to look somewhere else, I need to do something else. This option is not open for me, I should look for the other options. And never give up. One method does not give you the desired results, then improvise a method and devise some other method. But be strong. Failure takes a lot of courage to come out of it, but that courage will not come from someone outside it. That courage has to come from within. When we celebrate our successes, we should be able to tolerate our failures as well. Okay? Then that we should not shove off on anyone else, because we rarely share our successes with anyone. We don't say we got successful because of this person or that person. So we should not say that we failed because of these situations or that situation. Take responsibility and move on.
Thank you so much. It was really important. It was really important and full conversation, and so many things we need to learn. So I would like to wish all the wishes to us.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed the conversation because it gave me a chance to speak to my children. It gave me a chance to speak to my children about so many things that I wanted to talk to them at length. So you've given me that opportunity. I would like to reach out to as many children as I can and share my thoughts with them, share my opinions with them, and I invite all children also to come and talk to me whenever they want to, about whatever they want to. If I can help you in preparing for the challenges of life, if I can help you in reducing the pressures that you feel, it will be my pleasure. And I love you all, and I wish the very best to you all. God bless you. Jai.
My vote of thanks to Ma'am is our sense gratitude to Ma'am for being here, for sharing our valuable experiences, tips, and inspiring our students. Most importantly, how to overcome with the fear of board exams. We hope our students have made best benefit out of this program and downloaded tons of knowledge, informative information. Wishing you all the best for your board exams and colorful futures. Stop being afraid what could go wrong, think what could go right.
Thank you.